I have come to the conclusion that there has never been on this earth a political movement that wasn't a little religious. And there's never been a religious movement in the history of the world that wasn't a little political. But the problem you run into with theology, and when you get into religion and theology, is that there are two kinds of facts that we have in theology. The kind you look up and the kind you make up. And so much of what we have been told and left to believe is true in theology and religion, especially in the Western world, is nothing more, in my opinion, than political propaganda. And I think this can be proven. But over and above the political aspect of Western religion, I am also fascinated, as this book brings out, it's just a general anthology on religion, just generally things which most people don't know about theology and religion that the church would rather you not know. For instance, I get into in particular the connection between astrotheology, which is the world's oldest religion. You can go back to 5 and religion.
Family, for the longest time, white folks have used religion to ensure that they have control over power. They've used religion for political reasons. And family, in this video, Professor Jordan Maxwell tries to explain how religion was used, to gain power. And in this video, he also exposes deep secrets. Jordan Maxwell is one of the few researchers who's warned us about religion, and he says religion isn't just about faith. It symbolizes control and power, and that is how religion has been used for far too long. So family, I want you to watch this video all the way to the end as Jordan Maxwell tries to expose the deep secrets that comes with religion that most of you all don't get to notice. Religion isn't just about faith. There is something about it that is deeper. They are using religion to gain power and to gain those political seats. So family, watch this video to the end. In a special way, I'd like to thank my subscribers who are taking the time to support this channel by buying me a coffee. I do not take your support for granted. The link for buying a coffee is on the description box down below. Let's watch this video, then we'll be right back.
Let me give you an example.
Okay, but all right.
Well, let me give you a quick example of just the point I made between tying government in with religion. When you go into most churches today, you will see the altar is 3 tiers high. It's 3 degrees high. It has, in most churches, they will have a fence with the gate, and only the priest can go through the gate or through the fence up until the altar. When the priest, the clergy comes out, he's dressed in a long robe. Everyone stands out of respect. It's the same thing in any courtroom. You have the people of the congregation out here. You have the fence with the gate, and only the attorneys can go through and speak for you. And the bench is 3 tiers high. The 3 tiers high in the church and courtroom stand for the first 3 degrees of Freemasonry. When they're British, and Brit in Hebrew is a contract or a covenant, and the word ish.
Somebody might say, well, how dare you question the Bible? I mean, how dare you write a book like this? You must be a demon or something. How would you answer that?
I would say the same thing has been said of Solomon Rushdie. How dare you question the Quran? How dare you question the Karl Marx in the Communist Manifesto, or Mao and the Little Red Book of Mao? How dare you question authority? I'm saying that the man that we read about in the New Testament, the one called Jesus, if he taught us nothing, it was to question authority. Because anytime you give away your spirituality and your authority, and you do it yourself, no one comes and puts your hand behind your back and forces you to give up your spirituality and your individual freedom and your right to be a human being and decide for yourself. You do that yourself. And when you do that and you give up your sovereignty to the government, to the church, to a religion, to a book, to a concept, to anything, you are enslaving yourself. All I'm asking the public to do is do a little research. see if what I'm saying is wrong, and judge for yourself. I'm not advocating. I'm not running for a political position. I'm not trying to start my own church. What I would like to see done as a spiritual revolution in this country, where people say, just say no. Just say no to organized religion. Just say no to organized government. Just say no to tyranny. I don't care where it is and what color it is. Bigotry, ignorance, ill-informed, stupidity. Just say no. From here on out, the point I'm making is that you need to do your homework. You need to study and find out where things came from.
But what happens? What happens when they do find out? What happens to those who their whole life has been the Bible? There's so many people who have, the Bible is what keeps them going every day. What will they...
15. Now let me ask you something. Are you aware that there were 15 other major religions? This is history now.
Okay.
Not conjecture, history. There were 15 major theological religious movements in the world before Christianity that taught exactly the same identical story of a Messiah who came to the earth, who was born in a manger, who died on a cross, who had 12 apostles, who died with a crown of thorns. Are you aware that there were 15 major religions that had the same identical teachings of Christianity? Most people aren't. And I'm very suspect of a 16th religion which is copied off of 15 previous religions, and I am told that this one is the truth. I become very suspect. That's the way I am as a teacher and as a researcher and a writer. I become rather suspect, and I tell you something else I'm very suspect, and that is the connection between government and politics today in America. I think both should be investigated, and that's what this book attempts to do. Look behind the scenes of both our authorities in the world, religion, politics, and money.
So when that happens, people will actually have almost a renaissance of themselves.
Let us hope so.
And a whole new type of person can come about.
I think you will agree that that's what we need. Our country is in trouble. Our families are in trouble. Our whole human race is in trouble. And basically we can boil it down to 3 problems we all share on this earth in common: religion, politics, and money. And I'm telling you, the 3 are not separate, they are all one. Because in the ancient world, the king always represented not only temporal power, but also heavenly power. He was the connection between the people and God. That is why today we have you cannot get married in this country today in America. We are told that there is a division between church and state. Look at the wording on the banner beneath the pyramid, Novus Ordo Seclorum. Novus Ordo Seclorum is new order of the world, the new world order. Why is an Egyptian pyramid on an American dollar bill? Are you aware of the symbolism going on here? Like the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C.? You know what the Washington Monument stands for? It stands for the male erection. And it connects right down the waters of life to the Oval Office. The Oval is the female, the Washington Monument is the male. It has to do with religion, it has to do with sex, it has to do with political power. And we take these instruments and we take these symbols and we think they're so marvelous. Do your homework and you'll find out that so much of what we consider to be holy and righteous is in fact nothing more than sex, religion, and money. And most people pretty well know that. But no one has actually bothered to confront the establishment. I hope to do that. I want to confront the establishment for the one reason I think that the truth is an idea whose time has come. I think we've all been manipulated and exploited, and it's time we look at the real truth.
Yes, well, I think that a lot of people are somewhat walking around in a daze. So many things are happening. They don't know where to turn.
Absolutely.
And I think that many of them, they don't really feel very happy with what they're receiving in church when they do go to church. You know, they feel something is wrong.
It's because something is wrong. It's not true. The things which we have been told are not true. You can prove this in any good library. All one has to do is do something you've never done before. Go to a library and spend all day reading theology, and you will find the world has known for thousands of years that these stories are nothing more than stories.
Now,
As a matter of fact, Rita, the Bible is called the greatest story ever told. The greatest story, not the greatest collection of facts, not the most paramount document on earth, the greatest story ever told. It's a story. One must know how to read the symbols and the emblems and the terms. And that is why
the symbols in the Bible
symbols
too?
are in the Bible everywhere. I mean, did you know, for instance, that the book of Revelation was not written by Christians? The book of Revelation was around for at least 500 years before Christianity ever came into existence. The book of Revelation was already in circulation. No John ever wrote the book of Revelation. His name was Ion, I-O-N, from the Ionian Sea. And when in Latin, when you change I's to J, it becomes J-O-N. But in the English, it becomes J-O-H-N. So that today we're told that John wrote the book of Revelation. No such John ever wrote the book of Revelation. It was written 500 years before Christ was ever born.
Oh, this is just, you know, it's earth-shaking.
Wait till the real truth comes out about religion and politics in America, and you're going to see the earth shake.
Are you ready for the tomatoes? Are you ready to
I've
duck?
already gotten it many times.
Family, by now, if you've been watching my videos, you all know how white power structures use religion to ensure that they manipulated people all over the world to gain power. We know of one of the scenarios of a white Jesus. Family, if Jesus was white, that meant that black people wouldn't question white folks when it came to matters slavery and oppression. Colonization also happened because of the very, very same religion, a whitewashed religion, a religion that was tailored to ensure that power is gained. And family, in this video, just like you've heard from Jordan Maxwell, you notice that there is a lot that is being hidden on the larger umbrella that comes with religion. Family, as a Christian, you ought to have, the gift of discernment, because wherever this world is going to is crazy. You ought to discern and get to understand some of these things, because family, the world you're living in is not becoming any safe. Many people are using religion to turn against us. They are using religion to gain power. They are using religion to ensure that they have control over the world. So family, when you go to any institution of worship, you ought to know, you ought to possess, you ought to pray to God to give you the gift of discernment, because that is one of the greatest gifts when it comes to becoming a Christian. Because sometimes the spiritual leaders we have in our churches, sometimes they can show us a direction that is not a good direction. We ought to know, to discern between good and bad, because religion right now is becoming crazier as days goes by. Family, Jordan Maxwell spent over 50 years studying ancient symbols. I'm talking about secret societies, language, and religious systems. He wasn't attacking God in the process. Some people would say that if you say that religion, was used as a tool of power, a tool of control, it was used politically, you'd be attacking God. Family, some of these folks were just saying nothing but the truth. They in any way are not trying to dim, the contributions that comes with religion, the teachings, Christianity. No. The idea is that Jordan Maxwell wasn't attacking God. He was exposing how institutions hijacked spirituality. Some people knew that the only way you can manipulate numbers is by ensuring that you take them to the spiritual direction, because many a times people are brainwashed, people are lied to in the process. Family, that's where a lot of people get uncomfortable, because the truth disrupts comfort. Religion, family, was designed using symbols. I want you to listen to whatever Jordan Maxwell was saying in this video. He's not saying belief is fake. He's saying belief was engineered. Symbols talk directly to subconscious. That's psychology, that's not conspiracy, Family, why do you think the same symbols show up in churches, government, money, and corporations? Because power speaks symbolically, not verbally. We ought to open our minds and get to see the relationship between religion, and power structures. You'd notice that many a times when somebody wants to be elected, they must ensure that they manipulate you spiritually. Family, we saw during the campaigns of Donald Trump, there were a lot of spiritual leaders around him. We saw in his inauguration, we saw any other kind of a pastor. We even saw black pastors in the venue trying to pray for him. Family, religion goes, at par with power, with politics. And family, this is where people start panicking. But family, I want us to go down. I want us to go just slowly and get to understand a lot of things. When Jordan Maxwell talks about, sun worshipping, he's pointing out historical continuity, not insulting faith. December 25th, 3 days of darkness, resurrection of the third day. These patterns existed before Christianity. So the question is not, the question is not Jesus real. The question is who rebranded what and why. We all know the story of Jesus and how Jesus was rebranded, to the most sold image all over the world. Jesus can be one of the most influential figures to ever exist. Every other person knows Jesus. And when I mention the word Jesus, the first thing that comes to your mind is an image of a white man who we've grown knowing that is Jesus. But that has always been a false image. So family, when I see Jordan Maxwell trying to expose some of these things that are being tolerated with religion and false Christianity, I'd say Western religion, is because these people only wanted to push their power needs. They wanted to ensure that they gained control all over the world. Family, control and power is something that religion really thrives on. I'm talking about the Western religion, the tailored one, and this part nobody wants to talk about. Religion became a tool of obedience. If you control belief, you control behavior. If you control fear, you control nations. And that is what they used, family. That's why empires always partnered with religion. Rome didn't destroy Christianity. Rome absorbed it. Family, any empire always thrives on religion. They know that the only way to manipulate masses is through religion. Religion has become a tool of obedience. When a leader wants his people to listen to them, he must come as a religious person. He'll have spiritual leaders around him. People will obey him. People will believe him. But family, these are the ways that religion has been used to manipulate people. This is how religion has been used to ensure that political leaders thrive in, their political seats. They are gaining power each and every day. Religion was used during the time of slavery and colonization in Africa. Black folks were oppressed for all these years because of religion. They lied to us. They gave us an image of a white Jesus, told us that we must listen to them, that God looked like them. We had to bow to authority. God had ordered them to do that. That is fake religion right there. That is the Western religion. Family, if anything, the real religion, real spirituality actually started in Africa. When they came to the motherland, they came to lie to black people. They came to lie to black masses. They told us that they have brought good news. They had brought the message of God. They brought the Bible, the whitewashed one. They brought to us this image. They ensured that they had control over us. Family, sometimes religion could be used, as a source of power. Religion could be used for political purposes. So at times, I tell people that we should pray each and every day to have the spirit of discernment. Because family, we cannot continue living this way. And I really, really thank God for Jordan Maxwell, even for exposing this, coming from a white person, exposing whatever he's mentioned in the video. I find it very, very humbling. And I find it very, very revealing, because the end times are coming. We are seeing people going against their own races to try and spread the actual message outside there, because family would be continued to be lied to. Jordan Maxwell kept repeating one thing, family. If people understood symbols, the system would collapse. Think about it, family. Why are symbols taught to elites but not to many people, to the masses? Family, there is something that these people are doing. They are using religion to ensure that they have control over us. Family, let me know in the comment section down below what you think about today's teaching. Kindly like the video so that it can be recommended to other YouTube users, and I'd be very, very grateful. Lastly, I daily appreciate if you all take your time to subscribe to the channel. We are currently on the road to 50,000 subscribers. And family, I believe that we can achieve these milestone together. The goal of this channel has always been to tell black stories the black way, because if we give the white supremacist an opportunity to tell our stories, many a times our stories are distorted and whitewashed. So family, I'd really, really appreciate if you share my videos with your friends and family. Goodbye for now, family. See you all in our next episode.